The Lotus Mark III, built in 1951, was Colin Chapman's first fully professional design and the first Lotus engineering car intended primarily for circuit racing. Following the Mark II's successes in trials and sprints, Chapman realized that the brand's future lay in motorsport, not amateur off-road competition. The Mark III was intended to be a lightweight, low, and aerodynamic race car based on Austin 7 components, but developed almost from the ground up to maximize performance on short tracks and in club racing. The Mark III frame was one of the most advanced designs of the early Lotus era. Chapman developed a lightweight, tubular frame that provided high stiffness with minimal weight. The entire unit weighed around 350 kilograms, similar to earlier designs, but was significantly more torsionally resistant. This concept became the foundation for later Lotus 7 models, demonstrating Chapman's increasingly bold experimentation with new design ideas as he prepared to enter professional single-seater racing. The Mark III's power plant remained based on the Austin 7 engine, but Chapman and his colleagues refined the engine to its limits. The fuel system was revised, a reworked SU carburetor was fitted, the exhaust system was improved, and cooling was improved. This gave the small engine a boost of pep, and the car accelerated far better than its modest displacement would suggest. Chapman proved once again that horsepower isn't everything. Weight, balance, and optimization are key. To enhance traction and stability, the Mark III received a completely revised suspension. Chapman installed independent front suspension and redesigned the rear geometry to reduce oversteer. This was crucial, as the Mark III achieved significantly higher cornering speeds than the Mark II, thanks to improved aerodynamics and a sleek, hand-formed body shell. The car became one of the most efficient cars in the 750 Formula class, in which it competed. The Mark III was an immediate success in competition. Chapman and other drivers competing in it scored numerous victories, increasing Lotus's recognition in the racing community. The model proved so successful that it attracted interest from other designers and club racing teams, eager to replicate Chapman's designs. The success of the Mark III proved that Lotus was no longer an amateur venture, but a genuine manufacturer of high-performance cars. The Mark IIIB was a further development of the Mark III concept, developed shortly thereafter as an experimental design. Chapman wanted to test alternatives for strength and aerodynamics. The Mark IIIB featured a different body shape, more streamlined, even lower, and subtly modified to reduce drag. It represented an intermediate stage between the classic Austin 7-based models and future Lotus single-seater racing designs. The Mark IIIB also experimented with a new suspension system and different spring rates, allowing for the testing of the effects of details on the car's handling. Chapman observed how changes in weight distribution and center of gravity height affected cornering balance. While this model didn't achieve as many victories as the Mark III, it served as a key development laboratory. It was the Mark IIIB that tested some of the features that would eventually find their way into the Mark IV and later Formula 2 models. Although the Mark IIIB wasn't widely known among fans, its role in Lotus history was fundamental. It enabled the transition from Austin's 7-based cars to fully-fledged Lotus engineering designs. Chapman refined his add-lightness approach, introducing increasingly lighter frame components, smaller wheels, and simplified mechanisms. These experiments paved the way for the famous Lotus 7 of 1957, whose philosophy largely derived from the Mark III and the IIIB. It's worth noting that both the Mark III and Mark IIIB were exceptionally refined visually. The proportions, lines, and low stance created the impression of a true racing car. Chapman learned to balance function with form during this time. The cars were fast, but also aesthetically pleasing, which attracted sponsors and built the brand's image. It was during this period that Lotus began to be associated with elegant engineering, not just with cheap and lightweight construction. Today, the Lotus Mark III and Mark III-B are legendary, although few examples survive. They represent a milestone in the brand's evolution from garage prototyping to professional racing. These models set standards that Lotus developed over the following decades, ultimately leading to success in Formula One and the creation of some of the world's lightest sports cars. The Mark III and Mark III-B are testament to Colin Chapman's genius and his determination to achieve engineering perfection, which changed the history of motorsport.